Oh hey, thanks for watching Rental Reviews episode number 69. The guys are over in the other store with Matt McMuscles about to review the most sensual movie of all time, Samurai Cop. But first, thanks to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. Use our link below to download Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for yourself. Now where's Kieran?
Uta duda, Kieran.
As a matter of fact, Greedo, I was just about to go boot up the Epic Games Store and order Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Son vitale, jaba wa ninji ivane vakna chatna. Gaisturi katse pajajajo. Ha 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 ha. Jawina susumusu.
Don't worry, I have another $59.99 to buy the game with.
Usumusu sani wa michina punga usasam now.
Well, I don't have it with me. I mean, tell Jabba... Look, even I make mistakes sometimes. You think I had a choice? Over my dead body. Yeah, I'll bet he has. So head on over to the Epic Games Store and pick up Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order using the link in the description. Also, please use the supporter creator code Cinemassacre. This helps support the channel. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, starring Cameron Monaghan as Cal. He's a guy that has no shame in taking on the Empire, and his Jedi skills are no joke.
Do you like my katana?
Do you like my more katana?
James, do you know what katana means?
Well, according to this film, this piece of shit Samurai Cop film, it just means Japanese sword. Simple as that.
What does katana mean?
It means Japanese sword.
Why would you trust a guy who isn't even a samurai? This is just...
What do you mean, James? They're constantly calling him a samurai.
The movie's called Samurai Cop, but he's not a samurai. I mean, yeah, he picks up a sword at the end,
yeah,
but it doesn't make any sense. And plus, I was really confused that I thought there were two different movies, because first of all, if you look this up, you'll find two different dates. 1989 and 92.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And also, there is a poster, like one of the first posters that comes up for this is a completely different thing.
Oh, it's like real red. It looks like a completely different guy holding a sword.
And then he's in a blue uniform.
Yeah. He's in like a uniform with a police hat.
He never wears that.
Yeah, he doesn't have the long hair, nothing. Completely different guy. He's slicing somebody's head off. He's holding the head with the sword. Yeah. And it says, "You have the right to remain silent." Dead silent. So they're marketing it like it's a horror film, but this is not a horror film. It's just basically this shitty cop movie.
They try to make it look like Maniac Cop, and it's not even close.
Other than that,
Maniac Cop is in the movie.
Yeah, Maniac Cop is in the movie. Robert Starr.
Really?
Oh, God rest his soul.
Who is he?
Robert Starr, the big face guy.
Beardy.
Huh.
The last one Samurai Cop kills.
Yeah.
That's Robert Starr. He's in a ton of B movies.
Wow,
yeah.
Especially Maniac Guy. He died a few years ago.
Yeah, I know. Rest in peace, buddy.
Rest in peace. You were fucking great. I love all your movies.
But what's his name in the movie? It's like he has a Japanese name, like Yamashita.
Oh, yeah,
it's Yamashita. That looks like,
yeah.
Look at him. That looks like a Yamashita if I've ever seen one. You know?
So I guess the story of Samurai Cop.
Yeah, I'm waiting with anticipation to see you actually sum this up.
the Katana gang, the Japanese sword gang, is causing trouble in where are they?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So they get a cop from San Diego, Joe Marshall, the samurai cop who is fluent in Japanese.
You get on the phone and you tell me that these what's his name, Omaha, Yamaha, whatever his name is, right, is after me.
He's a samurai. He's there to take down this Katana gang. He's got a partner, and yeah, he fights the gang on and off throughout the movie. He has several different girlfriends. It gets kind of confusing.
But it's also there's a lot of red tape. Like the boss, this Japanese boss of the sword gang, is there, and he's like, "Hi, you're the bad guy. I'm the good guy. Can't do anything to you yet. So I'll taunt you a little bit. I'll insult you, and then I'll fight you later, maybe." Like,
by the way, I forget the name of the boss, but that's fine because they call him the boss throughout the film. So you just call him the boss.
Here comes the boss.
James, what did you think of this exciting opening action scene? This big chase. You know, we recently did Duel. How did this chase scene through Los Angeles compare to Duel?
So much better than Duel, right? It's solid.
Oh no, this is garbage. This is garbage every step of the way. I was about the characters. So, like, first of all, this guy, this samurai cop or whatever, is like a total womanizer. Every scene he's in is like the opening to a porno film or something, and like it's always that setup that's constantly going on.
I mean, I kind of get it. Like, I just recently watched all the old Shaft movies. And Shaft is basically like that. He's got a girlfriend
Shaft
in the movie.
Has nothing on samurai.
Yeah, it's not that, but I'm saying, like, this movie was made by an Iranian guy, Amir Shervan, who loved, like, American action movies.
Clearly.
So this was, like, he must have watched Shaft and was like, oh, the good guy has a girlfriend, but he sleeps with a bunch of girls. I'll put that in my movie. But he didn't do it as well as the Shaft movie. So now it's just, like, in Shaft, it makes sense. Like, he's trying to sleep with a girl to get information. Samurai Cop is just sleeping with people for no reason.
I think it's like it's all he knows.
Yeah,
you know,
like the doctor scene. What was the point of that? That has nothing.
All right,
other than the director saw that scene in the movie and wanted it in his movie.
Do you want to fuck me? And then he takes her stethoscope, gets really close, and says what everyone wants to hear.
Bingo.
Oh. Who says bingo? You're not like...
This is awful. Then but my favorite character is the police chief, who's always like, "You motherfucker,
you son of a bitch,
you son of a bitch." He's always yelling at people. Like, he's one of the best. Like, I mean, he's the cliche, like, hot-headed, police captain. But he is really funny.
Yeah, I love that. My favorite line is when he goes, "I feel like someone put a stick on my ass."
And it hurts. I've got to figure out a way to get it out of there. God damn it, get the hell out of my office. Get out of here.
What about the scene where he, like, the samurai cop and black friend, like, leave?
Frank, I think?
Frank, they leave, and then he goes, "You son of a bitch!" And then slowly sits down, and you think, like, this is a take they left in, on purpose.
And then he starts laughing.
And he just starts laughing. He loves them. He scruffs up their hair when they come home, and he's just like, "You guys did a great job."
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Every scene has this, like, awkward dialogue, like, you don't got shit on us. Oh, I got plenty of shit on you.
Yeah. Yes, we have. We have many things.
Oh, of course, during that scene, they're in completely different places.
Oh, if you want to talk about the shot mismatches, it's like probably the most consistent.
I have the story behind that, but
so where do we begin? I guess
every scene.
So first of all, every time when somebody is framed, their eyes are always in the middle of the screen, which, I mean. I've done that. I've made that mistake plenty of times before, but usually the reason I make the mistake is because nobody's looking through the camera. Usually it's like when I set up a camera or something and nobody else is in the room, and like you can't tell how much headroom you have. And it's one of those things where there's nothing wrong with it, technically. It's just an awkward composition because when you have the eyes in the center, it makes Samurai Cop look like shorter than he is.
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be. Yeah, he's supposed to be like he is a tall guy, and he's supposed to like always look, like big and strong. And if they're not shooting him in that way, and then also when you don't have the eyes looking the same directions and you cut between different shots, nobody ever looks like they're looking at each other.
It's real jarring.
Yeah.
And another problem is some of the cutaways are clearly in the director's office shot months later.
Yeah.
Like the restaurant scene, you can see that there's nothing behind the two cops. And then it cuts to their close-up and there's like a doorway behind them. Okay. And it's like so clearly shot. Like, what do you think, Kira? That looked ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of those office scenes, I will make sure I'll do my best. I will send you guys the big yarn lion head that steals every scene that's always in the background.
In the girl's house?
Lingers on it. They're like, "Oh, get a load of this lion."
I want that lion in so bad.
I tried to commission an artist to make it for me and hang it in my house, and they're like, "No."
Oh, if I had time, I was going to drive to like Walmart, buy a stuff line, just cut its head off.
That's good too.
Your mind so desperately wants to connect these shots.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks, Kieran. It's like I've never seen a movie where this is Ed Wood style, but this is like more. This like goes further because, for one thing, Ed Wood films are in black and white. This one is in color, and the color doesn't even match.
Oh my god! So you've shot on film before, right? In like college, I've shot on film before. I don't know if you have.
I have not.
Okay, so there's like outdoor stock and like indoor stock, like, and I think they didn't understand that, so they shot on whatever film they had. So there's like outdoor film being used indoors. So they're either super orange or super blue because they didn't color correct them right.
Yeah, and the thing is, that could be fixed so easily, but I'm so glad that they have not color corrected it for its, like, you know,
no, don't fix it. Don't fix it.
Do not fix it, because this is like something, because you don't see that in movies much. You don't see the color abruptly change from shot to shot.
That's why this is the future, this film. Like, it's so new techniques.
It would be so easy to fix it up, but don't. Just leave it.
Speaking of the cutaways, like, normally what we do, because I've done this, I didn't have an actor in a scene for, like, something I shot. For my show Mummy Cop, not related to Samurai Cop. And we didn't have the actress one day, but I brought her in another day in the same location and lit it the same so it matched. This movie doesn't do that. They were like, let's just film it in my office against anything.
Well, one thing about the cameras I did notice is that, you know, when the sex happens.
Yeah.
And usually in real life, I'll say, like, most of the sex happens at night. Not in this film, because we don't have the proper lighting rigs. We don't have the everyone has sex during the day.
Afternoons of light. They're all into it. They're all into it.
There's that whole, like, beach scene where they're, like, walking around the beach.
Okay, there's that early chase scene that, you know, like we already discussed, like, completely beats the duel in every way.
Yeah, great. With the van that has the Hollywood video sign on it, I think.
The car bursts into flames, and you see a completely different actor staring at the camera.
No, I don't remember that.
Because he's like a darker skinned guy.
It might have been the director,
maybe,
because the director's Iranian. It's definitely someone who's like Iranian in the car.
But when the guy comes out, he's like a white.
It's a white guy with his like different hair, no facial hair,
and he's looking around to like put the fire out, put the fire out.
He like looks into the camera like, "What are you doing?"
And he's doused in the gel. You can see all of the gel, and they're like, "Hey, one take, we got it." You know, it's this movie's so innovative.
James, you were crediting Duel for being like, you know, so hands-on. This movie's also hands-on with this action. Why don't you like this?
He got in there. The director got in.
Now, with all the bad, you know, shot compositions and all the mismatches, I guess you got to give credit where it's due. Yeah. There was one shot that was the most perfect composition ever. It was right at the 1 hour mark when he comes into the room. I think him and the main girl, they walk into the house. And he takes off his sunglasses and throws them on the couch. The sunglasses land perfectly in the right corner of the frame, right side up, right on the couch. And it's just like, you know what? That was just perfect.
So my favorite shot.
If that's my main compliment for the film, then
I think there's a better shot where evil redhead lady is wheeling the cart of linens into the burn victim's room. Because that's where you put linens, and it reveals Robert Zadar dressed as a doctor.
Jumps up.
I was not. The first time I saw that, I did not expect Robert Zadar to be in the linen thing and pop up. Also, if he's dressed like a doctor, why is he hiding in the linen thing? Like, just blending as a doctor.
Then, okay, let's hide the sword. Well, then just put the sword in the thing. Why did you crouch down?
Also, he's a big dude. She can't be wheeling that guy around the thing.
So, right after that scene, they're leaving. They chopped off the burn victim's head, and they're leaving. You hear the same voice 5 or 6 times go, "Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute." It's the same one, and it's different characters that are saying like, "Hey, wait a minute," and then they're like, they grab onto like the bad guys as they escape, and it's the director doing "Hey, wait a minute" every time. There's no time for any ADR. He just recorded his own voice and uses it throughout the film. So all the bad guys have like 2 voices.
Oh, that's great.
It's a tour de force.
Well, James, I know you love practical effects. You know, I'm sure you love blood squibs, like in RoboCop and stuff.
Sure.
Did you like the blood squibs in this, where it's clearly just a paintball gun shooting a guy?
You know the guy, like in that last shootout scene when the guy gets like shot. It looks like he's looking for the wound, like he's going to hold it in his chest, but he like doesn't really know where it is, and then he holds it for just like this really long time.
And he falls down. He's like,
so we're talking about our favorite moments, or the moments we found the most awkward in this terribly awkward film. The moment that stood out, it was like this 1 second shot, although I have to give a little context around the shot. Not that there's really any context in this film. It was at the 45-minute mark. It's when he's interrogating the guy, like on the ground. He's bending his arm back, and he's and then so then him and the other cop are like they're like joking and stuff, and like so there's a racial joke, and then there's a dick joke, and then there's a sex joke, and it all happens in a row. It's all in one. There's this awkward, terrible dialogue, and I think it happens right after the scene where the blonde cop, the girl with who's always like making like the sex innuendos and stuff. She's like, oh, before you lose your dick, why don't you come over to my place and use it or whatever? And then they all like laugh or whatever. But the part that stuck out to me was it just cuts to that other random cop, the older guy, for like 1 second, just like staring, and then it cuts back to everybody else. Look at that scene again, and how they just throw him in there for that 1 second. It's so weird.
You better come to my house before you report to the captain.
For what?
Let's use it before you lose it.
All right, guys, listen up.
Yeah, I know. What did you think, Karen? Oh, Ryan, what are you doing here?
When they have all the awkward sex scenes, and then you just pick any of them. There's like, what, 18 of them in the movie?
They're shot at horrible low angles, focusing mostly on guys' ass. It's weird.
The actors constantly have their eyes wide open as they do it. And like,
I mean, it's not quite as awkward as The Room.
Oh, yeah. You know what? The Room at least has, like, swooping camera movements. They shoot it through stuff. These are just awkward and uncomfortable to watch. They don't have awesome soundtracks like The Room.
Yeah. The soundtracks they do have is just like a basic beat, like, ba-dum, tsh, ba-dum, tsh. Yeah. So everyone in the theater is clapping along with the beat of the like, quote-unquote sex. Because, like, clearly none of these people have been educated on how it's done. So they're just like, whatever, I'll just, like, kind of have my hands vaguely slap your titties around, I guess.
They were mostly, like, martial artists. Like, Gerald Nakamura's in Big Trouble in Little China, I think. He's a martial artist. Robert Z'Dar, martial artist. The main actor, Matt Hannon, was like a bodyguard for Sylvester Stallone and stuff.
Wow.
They were known for martial arts, not like acting. They probably never had a sex scene before.
Look at this guy's hair, look at his abs, he's in the movie. Yeah. Like, that's it. So.
Oh, God, we didn't mention the hair. We have not mentioned the hair once.
Go for it.
So, as we mentioned before, the movie went over schedule and they had to do a bunch of reshoots.
Yeah.
And it's the first time we see the samurai cop. He's wearing just this large, like, woman's wig. And with, like, a hat, and it's uneven. It doesn't match his actual long hair. It falls off in one of the fight scenes.
And they keep it.
It's the funniest thing, because every single time you're like, what is that wig? And he looks miserable in all the scenes with the wig, because he's probably
pissed. He knows how bad it looks.
Because he got a haircut, because he thought he was done the movie, and they brought him back.
Like, I read that the director said it's just for far away establishing shots. No, it's half the movie.
It's half the movie.
Also, at the end, that last scene when he has the sword, like, he is like, his face is getting so intense that it seems like all the blood is rushing into his face. Yeah. His face just turns bright red. And it does not match his hands or anything. Like, you could, it's like all just like going into his face, like,
like his heart is melting down. It's a nuclear reactor.
I mean, I've never seen anybody's face like get that red. Like,
if I could, I have like this favorite moment where I wouldn't say like you'll notice it at first, but if I say, you're like, okay. After the initial duel like chase, at the very start.
Why we keep comparing it to Duel?
Because we recorded Duel yesterday, and I feel like it's just like Duel. It's low budget. It's shot on highways.
There was a vision
on a secluded road.
There was a vision to it. After they put out the guy from being the white guy from being burnt. Peggy, the cop that makes, she doesn't make sexual innuendos. She says, let's have sex. Like,
pretty much.
She's in the helicopter and she goes, all right, see you guys back at the station. And they're miles down on the ground and she's up in the helicopter. They don't have walkie-talkies. And they go, and Samurai Cop does his, and then it cuts to hard sex. Yeah. Right? Well, not hard sex, but.
I love the pickup line before that. Where she's like, all right, keep it up. He's like, oh, it's up and ready. You keep it warm for me.
You keep it
and then she goes, it's warm and ready. I'm like, I watched it with my girlfriend. I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, warm? Like, it's wet. If she said wet, it would have been gross, but at least it would have worked. But warm?
But you're also in Los Angeles. It's pretty warm all year round. Like, I don't think it's going to get cold anytime soon.
My favorite is when he's in the police station after just having the sex scene. He's bragging about sleeping with someone else.
Yeah.
And the girl behind him goes, hey!
So I'm lying there in bed with probably the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life.
Hey, what are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. You know you're number one. So anyway, this guy...
I've heard enough of these stories.
And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, you're my number one," and that just solves the situation. Yeah,
it was acceptable.
That's not how it happens in real life, by the way. It would have turned into a big fight.
Yeah, it was acceptable.
Oh my god, it would have been a mess. But he just goes, "You're my number one." She's like, "Oh, all right, well, at least I'm number one."
Because that's how it worked in 1989 or 1992, depending on
when it came out.
Whenever they filmed it.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny.
I'd highly recommend anyone get some friends together and have an amazing time watching them.
For me, it's hard to get my friends, me and my friends like bad movies. It's hard for them to get into this one.
Why?
I don't know. You know why? Because I think sometimes we do a double feature with Miami Connection. Yeah. That one is easy for people to get into. Samurai Cop, for some reason, it's a little
Miami
rough.
Connection's too fucking good, though. That doesn't count.
It is.
You're not really in the muck. Yeah. But Samurai Cop's the muck.
I will say, definitely check out Samurai. Don't watch the second one.
No.
Tommy Wiseau's in it, which is kind of funny.
He's the best part.
Port star Zoe Monroe's in it. Zoe, if you're watching, here's my Twitter handle. What's up? Anyway, I think me and you were talking about when these bad movies get sequels years later, like Hobgoblins 2. They're like,
doesn't work.
Like Samurai Cop 2's got science fiction and magic and stuff.
They're in a spaceship, I think.
Yeah, it was like, this is just, why did you?
Because the first time's accidental and then the second time is on purpose. So it's kind of hard.
It's not as funny when the filmmakers are in on the joke with you. Yeah. It's better when the filmmakers are trying their best.
The closest I ever saw was Birdemic 2. But even then, a producer added stuff in that were obvious jokes, but they actually let the director of Birdemic 1 just do whatever he wanted, which was make a bad movie.
Right.
But there's a really funny movie called Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's so good. And Lost Skeleton was made intentional. This is a parody of 50s monster movies. But they did it so well. They nailed the style, and it's so funny. But then they made a sequel to that, and they gave it a good shot. But the second one isn't as funny because then it comes off as even more aware. It's a hard thing to do twice.
There's a few good moments early on, and then it just kind of fizzles out. But yeah, if you want to follow up to Samurai Cop, just watch the director's other movies. I forget their names, but here they are here. They're almost the same quality of Samurai Cop. Actually, some of them are shot better, I think.
I don't believe you. I don't think this man can improve.
Okay, so next year we'll be reviewing one of those movies.
Anything by Andy Sardaris, who also did Hard Ticket to Hawaii. They're in the same vein as Samurai Cop, but they are better than Samurai Cop. They're more consistent in story and whatever. But you're not here for the story anyway. Yeah. You're here for Japanese swords.
I don't know how to finish this. Kieran, any final thoughts?
Now I'm going to tell you, son of a bitches, that I respect video rental workers of this country who are honest businessmen. And yeah, this is the land of opportunity for legitimate business, not for death merchants who distribute drugs to our children through schools and on the streets. Now I'm telling you motherfuckers that if they continue killing the children to make their precious millions that they deposit in their secret Swiss bank accounts, Tony, before this rental review even gets rendered and posted to YouTube, I'll have their stinking bodies in garbage bags and ship them back to Japan for fertilizer. Got it? And you too.
Well, it's hard to top that.
Yeah.
Well said.